Hi everyone. So I thought I would just do a wee special Easter weekend reading for you. Right, so what have we got? Oh my gosh. Well, I can't stop now. Can't stop, won't stop. Fucking hell. You've no, by the way, I'm not even being funny, right? You have no idea how, even if this video is very short, you've no idea how cheesy I am. Oh, there's a wasp. Life stings. We are in Scorpio moon, that is usually when life stings. It's because I've got a card that says life stings. I always think that when I see wasps. I've just recorded the shorts right up until the day before my birthday because I normally film them on a Tuesday anyway, and that's when that is. And I've just realised, can I just say actually, like, there was a strong feeling of twin flame. I think it was like the day before, so for the 17th, there was a feeling of twin flame unions coming about, which, you know, they're always coming about, but a lot of the times these will be kept a secret, especially if you're in my gang, because I say keep it a secret, because there's a lot of people that are not very happy for you. There's more that are not happy than are. But I then realised how important that actually is, and it's not just, oh, it's because it's my birthday and I help with Twin Flames. It is because my birthday date actually does add up to the Twin Flame Union card. The biggest one in my opinion, the Four of Wands. That is 1111 card. So, you know, there is, yeah, so we'll see that, you know, that is in about just over a week from now as it gets to 11:44. But yeah, I kept saying, oh, is Jesus going to come out? And Jesus didn't make an appearance, but he has now. So I love it because this is for the Easter weekend. Master Jesus, forgiveness. You're on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father, healing is possible at this time. So I do actually feel, I don't usually get that with this card, but I do actually feel there are a lot of divine masculines out there. And this particularly feels for the men, but again, this could be for the women out there too. I do feel there is a lot of father healing going on. So again, it could be you and your dad, whether your dad's alive or in spirit. Because again, I've helped many people through my mediumship where you maybe didn't have that closer relationship with your dad in the physical, but when he's passed over, you know, he becomes a guide. Just the same with, like, I've had that with many people's mums, you know, or grannies come through, and you know, again, if someone was kind of absent or whatever the kind of deal is, and even if they weren't, you know, so there's a bit of this going on, and again, I suppose that doesn't surprise me because Easter is for me growing up anyway, it's definitely a time of family and cousins all getting together. I always have loads of happy memories. I mean, I've actually been, that's funny, I've been drawn up to a picture of me and my cousins now, but yeah, my cousins from down south always would come up to visit at Easter. Um, uh, so yeah, so it's yeah, that's what it always reminds me of. So there might be something in all that. Again, if you're new, whenever I'm saying anything, I'm channeling. So all of this could have significance to someone. But I do feel as well that this could be healing around you, for you being a dad as well, father healing, or anything else that is to do with that. The masculine, it's the divine masculine. So divine masculine healing, right? And we've got devotion, Krishna, trust your spiritual guidance, your commitment has been recognised, you're loved unconditionally. Yeah, so I really do feel that's really lovely. I got to free Ascended Masters as well, and these are Ascended Masters in these cards. And it's kind of, I really do feel this is, I mean, I'm filming this real time on the Saturday the 8th, so, you know, the day before Easter Sunday, and it's kind of like, you know, it only occurred to me, again, without going into a big long story here, like, I wasn't brought up religious. So when I'm channeling the energies of Jesus and forgiveness, which is really in everything I'm doing, or Mary Magdalene and all these kind of archetype energies, when I'm channeling that, it doesn't come from kind of like a knowledge of being brought up religious or anything, but I felt this real heaviness and darkness, and oh, it was really heavy. And I mean, it was Scorpio moon, and Scorpio moon is all the things I just described. It is, you know, it's, I mean, for those of you that have actually got a Scorpio moon, you know, you'll know it's a difficult placement to have. Whenever I read people's charts and sessions, you know, I can feel like, you know, it's people cry in my sessions when I look at their charts anyway, because I'm always weaving the healing, and, you know, I'm basically reading your soul when I'm looking at your I just looked at 441 backwards as well. Like, I'm basically reading your soul when I'm looking at that. And because I'm a medium and a shaman and everything, I blend all these gifts together, and it's life changing. I mean, people have said this for years. So again, if you're looking for that session, you can find that on the schedule. So basically, and those of you that have already had that, because everybody that's done a lot of sessions with me, that was usually one of the first big ones that you had. I can look at your transits now, see what's going on in real time, and it's always going to help you. Do you know what I mean? It's always going to empower you. So yeah, basically, I feel this is just a whole lot of love coming in. Oh yeah, that for the divine masculine, and that's what I was getting at. Like, I felt like I felt so much pain arising in me that I actually, I wasn't like crying for ages, but I did, I had kind of, when it's just like silent me tears, like it was just, I had to let it out. And then I realised, with me being a collective channel and a channel, specifically, a divine channel for the twin flames, I really felt I was tapping into those of you in that dark place. And like I say, Scorpio moon is about that, and we're still very much in Scorpio moon today, tonight, tonight into tomorrow. And it's just, that's really fascinating me that it's, that is landing over Easter, because it hadn't occurred to me that, Friday was the day that Jesus was, the Good Friday is when he was crucified. And I didn't know. If you'd kind of asked me, I mean, that's really showed my ignorance, but I probably would have thought it was Sunday. Do you know what I mean? But it's not, because it's like he died on the Friday and then he rose on do you know what I mean? So anyway, so again, even with me getting confused about that and then realising, because I was kind of fascinated, I thought, oh my God, I bet you that's why. Like, I could just feel it. That, for me, it would make sense because it was Scorpio moon and I've got a shitload of Scorpio. Like, I really do feel with my Pluto and Scorpio in the 12th house, like, I feel the world's pain. I always say that about Cancer moon, but seriously, I get it really bad with that placement. Every time anyone knows their astrology hears I've got that, they're like, how do you get through that? And again, it's, some days are pretty tough, but I don't moan about it. I chose it. Those of you that know me well will know that's like, I make it work. You know what I mean? It's a powerful placement to have, and I make sure that I use it well, for myself and others. But again, when it's protecting myself, I really do have to sort of hermit away. Sorry, I'm pulling this up because it's quite a long necklace, but it's like, I like my circle necklace. So there might be something with me feeling this need to be shown the circle. There might be something about something coming full circle. Yeah, but you're loved unconditionally. That's coming in from Jesus, loving that. Now let's see if Mary Magdalene comes out, because I've got the Divine Feminine Oracle too. Although Mary Magdalene's actually in that deck too. Now I did actually want to read this. Oh, that's so cool. That reminded me, look, right, I pulled this card and I started talking about all of that and I didn't. So we've also got Lady Nada, Heart Awakening. And again, I feel there is this heart awakening going on, for all twins, divine feminine, divine masculine, awaken to acceptance and divine love. Oh, I forgot I said that. Give and receive and balance. Basically, things are balancing out, and that's why I said that about my birthday numbers. There's something about, the 18th of the 4th, and then my, I'm, like my year of birth, and that it all adds up to the 4 of Wands. So it's like this energy, that energy, the solar eclipse in Aries, which again is just a couple of days after the 18th, it's all bringing in change and new beginnings. But before that, we're having to go through a lot of pain and heart openings. They're pulling me to love is yours, recognise your divine worth, choose love and thoughts. And I pulled that in one of the shorts as well. I think that was actually the one I pulled for today. So again, yeah, there's just all this feeling of a lot of love and healing coming in for those that are ready for it, and obviously for those that are ready for unions. But even before the physical union, the spiritual union has taken place for loads of people ages ago, but it's just a process. They're pulling me the 2 of Cups card again. That's been sitting there for months. So, you know what I mean? It's just, again, I don't know why I haven't moved it. I just like it up there. It's just, the light is coming out of their hands. It's like, are they healing each other? Are they sending that healing out in the world? I don't know. But they keep pulling my eyes out. Right, let's read this. So, face and fear. Right. Yeah, I won't make this too long. I'm just, listen, it's worth it because Jesus made an appearance. I'm just like, yes. And this is a standing joke with my memberships over the years as well, but because I used to be like, oh yes, I pulled Jesus. And it's like, that doesn't sound right, that I pulled Jesus. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but Mary Magdalene did pull Jesus, didn't she? People weren't very happy about that. Mary Magdalene got called lots of different things. And lots of us live out that in the real time, don't we? Right, so And the thing is, the Mary Magdalene templates might be completely oblivious to the fact that they're being called this and that and everything under the sun. Because Mary Magdalene and Divine Feminines just live in this high vibration. It doesn't mean that we don't have bad days, but it's kind of like, listen, if folk want to sit around and gossip and call people names and all that, like, it says more about them than it says about the people they're talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just stay in your own lane, and people are always going to be like that. Right, okay, so I just got drawn to Soul Flame, and then that's me in that book, Lady Portia. Can we just find Jesus, for Christ's sake? Joan of Arc, that's actually the other one. I didn't say that in the shorts. That's Joan of Arc's the one I really resonate with in this deck. Because again, that's very Aries. Very the high degrees of Aries, which is what I am. So when I'm talking about myself, see how it fits for you. Right, so I feel this is a message for the Divine Masculines, but again, it could resonate with Divine Feminines too, because you have both within you. It gets to 11 minutes. You're on the path of light, love, and forgiveness. Father healing is possible at this time. A man who needs no introduction, especially not at Easter. Through both the Gospels and the Gnostic Gospels, we have come to know Jesus as a great teacher, loving guide, and generous soul who accepts us all. Although he is the focal point of Christianity, he will respond to anyone who reaches out to him, which is why I always say to what? To pray and to have faith. Because they keep pulling my pillow over there, it says have faith. I used to have it sitting behind me. I think it's my wee niece has moved it over, so it might not have even been her, it might be me, but it normally sits behind me. So I've normally got have faith sitting behind me. So again, that means something. Have faith. Like, he helps us to overcome sacrificial love. When we have to leave behind something in order to get the love we want. Oh, and I'm pretty sure it was 11:44. My eyes usually catch it, but that's crazy. My eyes do usually catch it every single time, and it didn't here. So I feel something's going to catch you off guard. Something is going to catch you. Something's going to come unexpectedly to you. You're not going to see it coming. Yeah. And again, it could be to do with these unions, or it could just be to do with, I feel it's like going to be to do with a change within your twin, or, you know, like it could be either hearing something or actually hearing from them or seeing them, something like that for someone watching this. But again, that when we have to leave something behind in order to get the love we want, that's really specific, because that's what I've been picking up on in the shorts when I've been channeling. It's always like every day, it seems like. I mean, it gets really boring sometimes, I'm not gonna lie. But it's like every day it's either like cutting the cords. I mean, definitely for the next 10 days that I've already channeled, but it's like, you know, and again, remember, it's timeless, so they could make sense like to people now, they can make sense in 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever. Hopefully not 2 years, but it's kind of, but that does happen. Ones from like years ago like can resonate, but it's kind of like, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like karmic endings for twin flame divine unions, divine love to come in, and we've already pulled the divine love card. So yeah, it's like leaving something behind in order to get the love we want. So the things we're leaving behind, I got drawn to 1313, that's divine feminine energy. It can be really painful. It's not easy, you know, so it's to keep that in mind if you're not the one having to do that, because you will have had to do it at some point and it will have been painful. Here's, oh, and also they're just sort of saying to me as well, depending on what's happened in your twin flame dynamics as well, there'll be a whole load of fear in the twin that has to go to their twin to, yeah, to say whatever that's got to be said. So it's like there's a lot of hurdles. Yeah, there's a lot of hurdles there. But divine masculines can do it, regardless of whatever your gender is. He is also the light keeper. We can call on for support with forgiveness. He reminds us that our connection to love is the most important connection we will ever create. His twin flame is Mary Magdalene. I mean, I know that, right? And that's why I said it, but it just feels quite special that I was going on about. Because I love it, I kind of love it when I watch it back. It's funny, it's like they make me channel it in a modern way, but I'm not joking. All the things I'm saying, I'm not joking. And if you live this path, you'll know that it's very true. It's crazy how you can live out how some of this shit goes down. Like, yeah, I mean, it's kind of unbelievable, really. Forgiveness is an act of self-love. You're being encouraged to know that whatever you've done to yourself or others, the divine is not condemning you. That's really, now I know why I was led to read this. I never read from the books, really, do I? Not that much. 1444. But that is a message. I'm really channeling that healing to the divine masculines when I say that, and the divine feminines. We all need to hear You know, forgiveness is an act of self-love. You are being encouraged to know that whatever you've done to yourself or others, the divine is not condemning you. So where do you need to forgive yourself? You don't have to forget what has happened, but you no longer need to allow your whole story to be defined by a situation that doesn't support your happiness. And I can really feel it's because if you've done something that you're not too proud of, before you, that my words came out funny there, but again, as I always say, that means something. It's you can't get the words out, or your twin flame can't get the words out to express themselves, and it's usually the both of you. But it's like you're just a whole different person. You know, and there'll be bits of you that were amazing, there'll be bits of you that you're not so proud of, and that's like all of us. That's how we live and learn. But it's like, it really is important for those of you that are waking up a bit later, or it's a bit more recent, or, you know, you've just coming out your dark night soul, or you're still in it, or I don't believe lots of people tuning this will be yet to go through it. I feel you'll either be in it or you're just coming out of it and you're exhausted. It's like, well, unless people find this later and you're whatever, you know, that you've not went through it yet. But it's about kind of like, yeah, you're rebirthed by the light. I'm sure I called one of my shorts that. Like, you literally are a different person. I mean, again, it's like, I guess we'll find out, you know, those of us that's yet to have happened to you, you know, you'll find out when that happens. Jesus is here to bring miraculous shifts of healing to you and all those around you, and to release you from the burden of self-loathing. And again, and this is why I say, like, you know, I work with Jesus and everything that I do, really bringing about that unconditional love, because, you know, as well as a twin flame healer and a twin flame teacher, all the different things that I do through the hypnosis and the counselling especially, it's I'm helping you to release self-loathing, you know, to accept yourself, to love yourself, to know that you're not perfect. When I itch my nose, by the way, if you're new, that's usually when there's loved ones in spirit. So I feel with me talking about my cousins, and because my cousins, and I'd always spend time with my nana, and I'm being drawn to a picture of my grandma and granddad, and the robin is about my nana, and hummingbird as well, and being pulled in. I pulled a hummingbird on, I spoke about a hummingbird on the shorts there. So again, these things could be specific to some of you as well, but it's about, hummingbirds about living in the moment, and I said that in the shorts. But there's something about, you know, I feel a lot of, God, my nose is really itchy, loads of loved ones and spirits gathering round at this time, for you and your healing. Right, when I start burping, I'm transmuting energy. Jesus is here to bring miraculous shifts of healing to you and all those around you, and to release you from the burden of self-loathing. He wants you to know that he sees the child of God within you. He also brings clarity and healing to any situations concerning your Father, either on earth or in heaven. Yeah, so that is what I know it says that on the card, but that is really what I felt. Actually, that's quite interesting, because on the front of that bit, I'm sure that is the Mary Magdalene card. Look, so it was like when I sat them down, that is like twin flames, Mary Magdalene and Jesus. Right, let's now shuffle from this deck then and see who comes out. And again, you're going to hear me being very loud if it is actual Mary Magdalene, but stranger things have happened. But listen, we need to settle for the fact that we got Jesus. What divine feminine energy wants to bless us this Easter, for this Easter weekend message? Like I say, I'll probably go back to filming the ones with my hands and that in the office, because now that we're well into Aries season, I'm getting a lot more energy back. Praise the Lord. Thank God. Teresa of Avila, a lady of the inferior life. I trust the answers I find within me. I know that the presence of love is real. Oh, and then we've got Saraswati, the college of the the goddess of self-knowledge. The essence of who I am flows effortlessly into everything I create. The Divine Mother. Unconditional love. I've just been going on about that. Unconditional love exists within me. The presence of love is the absence of judgment. Yeah, so that feels very Jesus as well. Lilith. She gets the bad rap too. The first woman. I am the voice of my body and soul. I choose the life that I desire to live. You don't fuck about. You ought to find that in your chart. The goddess of discernment. I spend my time wisely. I only say yes when it's a holy hell yes. I think that's what I get when I say it's like, look, if it's a fuck no, no. It's either a fuck yes or a fuck no. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I can't even remember what I used to say all the time. But it's like, if it's not a fuck yes and it's a no. I think that's what I used to say, yeah. If it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. Right. Right. And I just opened up at Callie, but I can't read them all. Right. So Mary Magdalene's hiding. That's going to have meaning, by the way. Mary Magdalene is hiding. Interesting. So again, you may resonate with being a bit of a hermit right now. I know I certainly resonate with that. Right, okay, so, but not forever, not forever. And with me, like I always say, it's a bit more complicated, isn't it? It's like, I am a hermit, but I'm a hermit that has to show face when I'm guided to like this to give the messages. Then I'm like, right, back into hermit mode. Right, where is this? This is the book. If you've known me all these years, which I know a lot of you have actually been subscribed to here for years, but when I used to read this, it was mostly on Facebook. I always used to get annoyed because I couldn't find the page. Right, I've got it, 35. And thank you, by the way, if you've followed me on my journey of growing into my, who I really am, my soul. Thank you for following me on that journey. Right, so on our journey, Teresa of Avila, Our Lady of the Inferior Life, I trust the answers I find within me. I know that the presence of love is real. With passion and conviction, Teresa of Avila connects us to the love and truth available to us whenever we turn inwards. Saint Teresa was born in Avila, Spain in 1515. As an adolescent, she experienced many illnesses and was confined to bed, which allowed her to begin to explore her own thoughts. She read every book she could find on spiritual exploration, on contemplative prayer. I can't say that very well. Sorry, the reason why I'm laughing is because it's the only one that's dog-eared in here, and I'm wondering if it's because I really resonated with it from my experience. Because look, it's literally the only one that's, you see that? I think it is that. I think I must have read this in a Facebook Live or something, been like, God, I really resonate with this. Because I was very ill as a child. And what me and my mum are in agreement of is, it's definitely because I've always been what I am now. Like, I always transmute people's pain. But I was literally always ill. And then when I started to act more like myself, like my true self, and share more of that self, like I stopped, like I had like throat infections and stuff, and laryngitis and probably tonsillitis and all that, like from a very young age, right up until I was a young teenager. And when I started speaking more of my truth, which really I would say only really fully came into really doing that in my 30s as well, like, yeah, all that went away. And like whenever my throat's a bit sore, it's more like this, like they're saying, right, I've just filmed the shorts and now I'm doing this, so, don't go too far because, got to rest my voice. But also, like I say, I do feel like I'm channeling the twin flames that are needing to talk. And that's all of them. Me included. But it's kind of like, it's, it's usually just when they're telling me, right, protect your own energy. But yeah, that's because I live my truth. You know what I mean? When you literally, again, if you do experience a lot of throat issues, just look at that. Like, are you being true to yourself? Because if you experience a lot of things around your throat, or even if it's, momentarily, like that you never usually get that, and it's usually you're needing to speak your truth to someone, or in general. Right, anyway. By the time she was a young adult, she knew she wanted to dedicate her life to the interior world. She entered a Carmelite convent in Avila. She increased the emphasis on contemplative prayer. I'm just laughing because I always got to make prayer. And eventually reformed the Carmelite order, which she later joined by St. John of the Cross. Over the course of her life, St. Teresa founded 17 convents throughout Spain. At the age of 44, she began to have oh shit. Oh my god, listen to this. Fucking hell, this is why I turned the page. This is freaking magical. Look at wait till you listen to this, right? This is crazy. At the age of 44, she began to have a series of visions that convinced her that Jesus Christ appeared to her in bodily form, and yet remained invisible to the eye. That's like when people don't believe me when I can get the visions and stuff. Again, that's just people that are ignorant, because I say things and then it actually happens, and when I've got this channel, it's proof. So, I don't care who doesn't believe me. That's just, they're probably jealous. These visions lasted for 2 years and would inform her books, especially the spiritual masterpiece, The Interior Castle, which charts the ascent of the soul as an inner journey through the 7 mansions. I just spoke about the soul of states of being that exist within us. Ultimately, Teresa wrote in the hope of assisting her sisters in the Covenant to also reach the innermost castle where God dwells in our soul. She reminded them that we ourselves are the castle and that the door of the entry into this castle is prayer and meditation. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm certainly resonating with this. It's obviously why I dog-deered it, although I'm sure that was years ago I'd done that, because I don't remember reading this for ages. Her own personal spiritual experience is the root of her instruction. The closer she gets to the seventh mansion where the soul ascends, which requires going further inwards to the stronger the light is, she describes the ways to discern the voice. And I just spoke about the voice. See what I mean? My life is not my own. They just get me to say the words that are going to connect. And presence of the divine within us and the certainty of God that arrives that cannot be explained or doubted. The inner journey was so significant to St. Teresa because she believed that God didn't care about the magnitude of anything we do, but rather the amount of love that we do with it. And again, I'm definitely resonating with her. Pope Paul V named St. Teresa a doctor of the Church in 1970. Her spiritual writings are considered integral to the Spanish Renaissance and to the history of Christian mysticism. Wow. St. Teresa is a call for the importance of the interior life. She knew intimately about the spiritual wealth we all possess. It's on page 37. Oh, if you're new, I mean, you'll just see this happens all the time. I get drawn to 37. Used to be 36 and now it's 37. Possess and have access to if we're willing to go inwards. She not only emphasised the need to meditate and to pray in order to reach that innermost castle where the soul waits for us, but also because that's where you connect with your true twin flame. But she also instructed the sisters of her covenant on how to discern the presence of the soul or of a saint or of a holy person that is giving us wisdom from within us. And there's something in that of when I said it. If you're really connecting and going within on that level, and you're able to see through the false light or the energies that will come to you and disguise themselves as your twin, or all these kind of things, like when you truly take the time to do that, you're not going to be hoodwinked. Do you know what I mean? And if you are, it's a lesson. Granted, it's a tough lesson that a lot of people do get, but the more you do that, the more time you devote to doing that, the less you're going to be tricked like that. But I have seen it. I've seen it, and I've helped people with this. And I do believe we'll see more of it, where people have been sure that someone was a twin flame and it actually wasn't. So anyway, she had a bookmark that supposedly read, "If you have God, you will want for nothing. God alone suffices." And again, that is actually because twin flames are about, the Holy Trinity. It's about being brought together through that God, that love for a higher power, God, whatever you want to call it, but it is, that is what it's about. So again, it's not some kind of fashionable, oh, I'm a twin flame and I've got a twin flame. It really is more than that. And when you connect with that energy after your dark night soul, it's why I always talk about that Stormzy song, blinded by your, it's either blinded by the light or blinded by your grace. But it's a really lovely song. And again, it's because I just really connect with the words. And if you listen to me, he's talking all about how he connected with God in his darkest times. And again, that song was actually happened to come out right as I was coming out of my darkest time. Technically, I was still in it. So, this synthesises the wisdom of her experience. Nothing less than divine love will satiate. Oh, that's a word. That's a word I had not heard until recently. A lot of people have been using it recently. Satiate a seeker, especially once you have met with it from within. And it's about, I'm going to read you what it actually means. I'm doing it for myself too. Satiate, meaning. He folded up his new, wait a minute, satiate with power of fame or wealth and possession. To completely satisfy yourself or a need, especially food or pleasure, so that you could not have any more. But basically it's like, it's that twin flame love, like nothing will satiate, like in that kind of meaning. Once you've had a taste of that, nothing will suffice. But again, people sure do a good job of trying to pull themselves away from that. But you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like it's the twin flame. If you've experienced that kind of love, and that kind of sacred love in the bedroom, it's kind of like nothing's going to match it. Doesn't mean you're not going to have other great experiences with other people, but nothing's going to quench that first. Satisfy that hunger. All these things are good. You can tell we're in Aries Sun, Scorpio Moon right now, because it's just screaming sex, but sacred sex. And again, that I'm not joking, because I am Aries Sun, Venus in Aries, which is about love. In the house of sex, by the way, that's where my Venus sits. So I'm very Aphrodite energy. And I use my sexual energy to heal people. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean anything weird goes on in the session. It's just like I have cultivated that energy over time. And because, it's not like I've been celibate for 20 years, but again, there is the weird sort of, it's not a coincidence, the synchronicity that I've known my twin flame 20 years this year. And anyway, I don't deem the separation being 20 years, because I mean that definitely isn't that, because it's like, the separation period is more like 12, it's actually 13 years this year, but and then it's kind of less, it's 10 years, it's kind of hazy, you know what I mean? But anyway, the point is I've not been celibate that whole time, but I've definitely had years of long years of celibacy. So and obviously that lockdown didn't help as well. Well, actually, I'm a rebel. That's got nothing to do with it. It really is just the love that I have for my twin flame. Like, you know what I mean? I don't force myself to do anything. That's an Aries. Anyway, blah blah blah. You get what I'm saying? It's like, I know it can come out in a jokey way, but it's truly when you're in divine feminine. And that's why I get quite passionate about, kind of triggers me, angers me a bit when I see people kind of on this journey, like, just actively really pushing you towards high level soulmates and but still claiming that they've got this strong love for their twin flame. But it's like they have got impatient at certain points and saw what else is out there, because it's like I can't. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've not even tried to make myself do it, because it's just I can't. Like, it's just this. That's the only way to describe it, and that's how you know when someone's truly on that path, in my opinion. Right. So, yeah, nothing less than divine love will satiate a seeker, especially once you've met it from within. You're just going to give yourself more karma on your own twin flame journey if you involve other people, basically. Because if both of you are doing that, it's just going to create more karma and more time. And it's nearly going to be 30 minutes, which is Jesus. He's hiding. No, he's here. See what I mean? It's all channeling, because that's like when the divine masculine's hiding. It's like, oh no, he's here. She urges us to meditate, to pray, to go inwards, and to meet with the presence of the soul. Because again, when we focus in on twin flames right now, when you focus on your own soul and being your best self, and basically focus on yourself and having faith, it's kind of like holding the vision but letting go. Like, that's what surrender's all about. So it's not giving up, but it's like you do have to focus on yourself, because when you focus on yourself, it's like your twin will then put the boundaries up with other people where they need to. I said your twin as I got to 33 minutes, again, Jesus, divine masculine. And yeah, the energy will start to balance, but there's no exact science about this, you know what I mean? It is very painful, it is very difficult, it does involve a lot of forgiveness of self, forgiveness of your twin, both twins forgiving one another. It can get pretty ugly, that is the balance of the light and the dark, integrating your own shadow. Even if you have done that, I've went through a huge shadow integration, over the years of doing my shamanic work on myself, and having healed myself and then healing other people of this. But there's always bits to be looking at about your own shadow and integrating more and healing your inner child. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot more than this is romantic union of you and your perfect partner. It's it's got those bits to it too, but there's a lot of rough shit you got to move through first as well. But it's worth it. It's worth waiting for it. And I'm going to use a deck that's got a card in it that says that, see if it comes out. And then she asks for us to believe that it is real and that the answers we find are real. She asks us to move that inner truth out into the world with confidence and conviction. And again, that really reminds me of how I've been sitting here. Like I say, it's 7-8 years in private sessions, but it's coming up a year and a half that I've been, so open. It still amazes me about not only that I am a twin flame healer, and that's all I am, a twin flame healer and teacher and guide and whatever word you want to use, but that that, you know, told personal stories about my twin flame journey, which is, you know, it's still uncomfortable, but I do it because that is my truth. Like, right, okay, so what does love feel like in my body? That is the meditation. And the intention is, I trust the answers I find within me. I know that the presence of love is real. Lovely. Right, so let's now shuffle these and then I'm going to end it. So again, I hope you have a happy Easter. And again, it's, you know, I just finished filming the shorts and I felt really called to do that there. So it's not, these messages aren't going to speak to everyone, but they will speak to some. And look at this, right? So 3 cards have fell on the floor and I've saw that one is, it says something about a surprise is about to happen or something. And it's got a little girl on it, which always reminds me of like inner child. Or it could be about actual children. But look, it's okay to be different. You don't need to be like everyone else. You're perfect just as you are. And when you accept that about yourself, right, your twin flame will too. But again, you know, I was about to say spoiler alert, that's not the right term. But what I'm saying is, it doesn't happen right away. You know what I mean? Because I've felt like I've been there for many years. But even when I felt like, yeah, I'm being the real me, I'm being truly out there, there was always another layer of it. You know what I mean? So, and then there's like a delay because with physical man, yeah, it's, you know. Anyway, wait a minute, I've got my jammy bottoms on here, so I'll be careful. Right. You can't see any of that. Look at this. Right, this is magical. I won't spoil it by pulling any other cards. So it's okay to be different, and as twin flames we are different. Teamwork. Work with others to make this situation come about. It's a unicorn and a cat. It's not a usual partnership, is it? Whether that be romantic, that would be funny, or any other, like a friendship. But I do feel this is, it's portraying you and your twin flame. You're very different, but, you know, like very different people fall in love all the time. And whether it, yeah, of all the, you know, there can be loads of differences, but again, do you know what it's reminding me? That's really funny. 37 minutes. You know what that's reminding me of is I watched Sleepless in Seattle recently, and I think that was one that I'd kind of avoided. But what it's reminding me of is it's like the bit in that film when it's like she's with this really nice guy that she's just got engaged to. I think she's engaged somewhere. I think she was already engaged. But basically, it's like, you know, when she's about to leave him, spoiler alert, but we know what happens, you know. Well, if you don't, well, I just spoiled it, whatever. But it's kind of like, it's the bit when it's like, you know, I think they're looking at like, you know, for the wedding, I think that wedding presents, I think they're looking at cutlery and plates and that. Basically, keep agreeing on everything. And it's just basically they're trying to set the tone if it's quite boring. So, you know what I mean? And it's like listen, I've got Venus and Aries, so whether I was a twin flame or not, I couldn't think anything less than having a boring love life. And like, I want a peaceful love life, you know what I mean, after all this fucking drama. one day we could live in hope and faith. But it's kind of like, you know, because it's more been non-existent for me, but it's kind of like, and like I've channeled before actually, it's either, historically, it's either been non-existent, or when other people have been allowed to get close to me, it's, yeah, you just don't even know. It's just that it's like, you know what I mean, it's kind of like it's always a message to me, not to go there. Like seriously, it's like the amount of times over the years, and again, this hasn't been for absolute years, but the amount of times over the years, it's like I'll get somebody like making out they're single and all that, and then I do my detective work and they're not. It's because it's like, they didn't want me going near anyone else other than my twin flame. A bit unfair, really, isn't it? Because it really isn't the same for the divine masculine. Hey, I never made up the rules, right? It just seems to be, it's a fucking, it's a thing. Anyway, work with others to make this situation come about. This is about the twin flames coming together. And again, you know, I know my humour comes through and all this, but it's just to really, it's to lighten the load and make people laugh a little bit here, right? Brothers and sisters, that's really what it's all about. And if you've listened properly to what I've said over the years, is it's 39 and I'm going to be 39 in 10 days. It's, I've had this kind of weird thing that, you know, and it reminds me of a deck of cards I've got, and it says in one of them, like, people never understood our connection, it was special and different. So that actually kind of reminds me of that different card. And that really hit me the first time I pulled that card. I think I was actually, you know, channeling a video for use, and it was just my hands, but it really hit me because that deck actually, whenever I pick a card, for myself, it's always like, it's really kind of like, whoa, because it's like what I'm actually feeling going on in my own connection. But it's kind of like, yeah, that one really always resonates with me, that what we had was really special and different and people didn't understand it. Yeah, basically kind of nails it. So I don't know if that, resonates for you guys. Well, it depends how much time you spent with your twin flame, I suppose. But like I always used to say, it's like whenever, not going too deep into it, but whenever, like, when it first started going awkward and weird between me and mine, obviously I was just kind of like, right, what the actual fuck? Like, but I always, yeah, just had that unconditional love for him, a bit like he was like an annoying brother or something. But that really does sound really fucked up, right? But it's true. It's like I just used to kind of roll my eyes and be like, well, you know what I mean? Like people would be kind of like saying things to me about him, or kind of like obviously like saying things to me as if like I could do something about it, or and I'm kind of like, you know what I mean? He's his own person, I'm my own person. And basically, a lot of the time I'd be like, stop fucking talking to me about it, you know what I mean? It's like, it's got nothing to do with me, but I'm like, it's got fucking everything to do with me. Do you know what I mean? It's like, our souls are connected, but it's got nothing to do with me, because that is the truth. You know what I mean? Your souls are connected. But when you're living out your physical life with other people, or they're living out their physical life with other people, because not everyone's has been the same experience as me, like living a lonely life. It's yeah, you know what I mean? It is none of your business. So it's kind of like, anyway, the whole point of that is to get along with others, see the love and the best within them. And it's kind of reminds me in a lot of these other decks that I've got as well. It's about see the innocence of the person. And usually, if you're a true twin flame, you can see the innocence in your twin flame, even if everyone else can. And it's kind of like, or if they usually it's not even everyone else. It's like they're trying to portray this kind of bad boy persona or bad guy, or if bad kind of doesn't really fit, kind of just, like I haven't got any feelings, and I was going to use a stronger term there, but like, I can love him and leave him kind of thing. It kind of actually reminds me again of that song that I hadn't known until recently, that Fooled Around and Fell in Love. I called one of the videos that I titled it, I fooled around and fell in love. But it's just funny because, the song starts off and it doesn't even fucking mince its words. It's like, I think it's like I must have been with about 1,000 girls. Something like, anyway, and I think a lot of guys, if you're being honest, because I know, like, lots of men do tune in here because it tells me in the analytics. More women, but the men, it's not, it's kind of, sometimes it can be half and half, by the way. Yeah, it's a thing, And actually, for the divine masculine woman, you've probably had a bit of time of being a bit of a girl, whatever you want to, whatever, you know what I mean? And it's like, look, just see the love and light within everyone. It doesn't mean we're all love and light, and it doesn't matter that you've done this and you've done that, or you purposely, intentionally tried to hurt me. That it's not great, It's when our shadows or it's when your twin flame's trying to get a reaction out of you, and it's, it's because, yeah, they want a reaction out of you. Some of you might have given it, some of you might not have. It might have gotten worse if you didn't give a reaction. It's like, some, and then some might even claim that I wasn't trying to get your reaction. I was just, we'll never know. We'll never know. But I personally feel you can tell. You can tell when it's your own twin flame. You can feel, you can be like, I think they were trying to hurt me with that. But you know what I mean? Maybe you'll have a conversation about one day and you'll air all that dirty laundry and you'll get it out and then you'll move on. Or maybe you'll just not talk about it and you'll move on, Who knows? But I'm going to end on this. Because again, I don't really like going into too much of that but it's just, it is true, you know what I mean? It's, yeah, everyone said it's true. Happy surprise. Something very good is about to happen. That'll be different things for all of us. But again, like I said, because it's a wee girl in the card, I really do feel there's some really deep inner child healing going on here. Healing some big inner child wounds about whatever that is for you. Where I feel it's like a mixture of like people being like, I don't get what I want for Christmas, or I never get, yeah, something around that, like, I don't get what it is I want, that doesn't happen to me, or this is too good to be true, or I'm not good enough as well, when I'm thinking of inner child wounds, it's something around that. But it's, oh God, and then actually, yeah, today's I'm channeling this, I'm putting that energy in it of, it's Moon and Scorpio opposite Uranus and Taurus. So that is basically like, it's expect unexpected energy, which we always say about Uranus and Aquarius energy, but it's when Uranus is in Taurus, it's, which has been there a while, but it's like, you know, it's about unexpected changes to the physical. So that can be as the world as a whole, but it can be your personal life and your physical environment. So it can be like changes in home life as well, whether it's actual moving house or just your home life being shaken up. So again, it can be quite uncomfortable. It's what I help people with, really, you know, when they're leaving marriages or long-term relationships or kids involved and all that. It's all difficult stuff. But when the moon's in Scorpio, it's like that's deep, intense feelings. And again, it's like with twin flames, it's not lukewarm love. You know, I don't care what anyone says out there. You know, like all twin flames are gonna be different, but twin flame love is not lukewarm love. And like what I've always been very transparent about with me and mine and our placements, the way they conjunct, it's not lukewarm. It's not lukewarm, put it that way, or it never was in the past. You know what I mean? It's again, I've got an extremely telepathic bond with my twin flame, and again, I'm not sure what his experience of it is of that on the other side, but again, we'll find out one day. But it's intense, you know. Like, so again, I feel it's, you know, and like I say, I don't like when I catch other twin flame people like basically being like, it's this way or it's no way. And it's kind of like, you know, maybe sometimes when I'm saying it might come across that way, I hope not, but it's kind of like nobody's perfect, but it's kind of like that. What I'm trying to say is, I think it is good for all of us, if you're a twin flame, to keep this in mind, because I'm here to heal other healers and mediums and stuff and whatever. Just because your experience was one way, it doesn't mean everyone else's is the same. And, you know, because I've sometimes caught people saying things like, as soon as you meet your twin flame and as soon as you know, have that sacred union, basically, as soon as you sleep with them, you're activated and, you know, your psychic senses coming on everything. And that's not actually the case if you've listened to my story properly. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't until many years later that I realised what that connection was all about. So again, I think it's just interesting. With me being a counsellor, a therapist, it's like, it's good to listen to everyone's different stories with this and just be mindful of that, because I have caught people over the time saying it really straightforward like that, like this is it, you know, they're not something. It's kind of like, it's really annoying. So whatever, that's just my 2 bits, but it's coming through the divine. But anyway, I'm going to end this now. So yeah, happy surprise, something very good is about to happen, and of course it is, because we're all going to get our Easter eggs tomorrow. Chocolate. Happy surprises always come about when chocolate's involved. See you later, guys. Bye. Happy Easter.